Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel and welcome again to another painting tutorial. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy my painting videos. So today I decided a different type of subject. I've done this before, but it's not very usual that I do this tutorial purposes. So here are the colors that we'll be using for today's painting tutorial before I tell you the subject. So we have titanium white. What is this color? This is olive green, black, burnt sienna, and mid yellow. I might use some purple color later, so I'm gonna get my violet later, but only for the highlights. So today I'm painting some water lilies in a pond, and this is one of my favorite subjects because you know how much I love Claude Monet, and he has this pond in his home in Giverny. So I fell so in love with that place when I went there in France. So yeah, let's paint something similar to that one, only that my painting will be more focused. Claude Monet is more of a landscape type of painting. Mine is more of a still life, but not really. So yeah, I'm gonna sketch first my subject and I'm gonna use my before we sketch a subject, I'm gonna do the background first. So I also have here my hair dryer with me so that I get things done quite quickly, because when I do the background, I'm gonna layer over the background. So in order for me to layer immediately, I need to dry my canvas. So if you're not really a fan of waiting, just like me, you should get your hair dryer or anything that will dry your canvas quickly, so that we can proceed to the next step. So I'm gonna use a fairly wide brush just to get things done quite quickly. You know how much I love to get things done quite quickly. So I'm gonna use my black, okay? And then I'm gonna mix it with my olive green so that it's not purely black. Like this color, maybe more green. And I'm gonna start doing the background. So just cover everything with this color. So I was originally planning to already show you the background or the canvas that is already painted this color, but I decided to begin the painting video with showing you how to do the background, so that you know you get the picture from scratch. Okay, we're almost finished. Actually, you really don't have to worry too much about the brush strokes here, whether you do it vertically or horizontally. It's really up to you. This is just the background color. Most of this will be covered with the main subject. This is not the main subject. This is the background of the subject. And of course, you can layer as thick as you want. It's up to you. Okay. So I'm just gonna use the remaining paints in covering those areas that are quite bald. Those bald areas right here. I'm just gonna cover. Alright, like that. Alright, okay. So again, as I told you guys, this is just the background color. We should not worry so much about this stage. So I'm gonna get my hair dry. Actually, I really don't have to hair dry this anymore, simply because my acrylics dry pretty quickly. So I think I can proceed now with sketching the main subject, which is the water lilies. I'm just so excited. Alright, so for the sketch part of the main subject, I'm just gonna use a small brush. Again, it really doesn't matter what brush you use as long as it gets the job done. Now you can actually refer to what I'm using, because I'm not really particular about, you know, the sizes of my paint brushes. I really don't care if I'm using 0.5. I'm just referring to them as a pointy brush, a small brush, a quite large brush, something like that. I'm not very technical about it. But if this will help you, I think the best thing that I can do is just to show you what I'm using, so that, you know, you can look at your paint brushes and just get one that is very similar to what I'm using, so that, you know, you feel more confident when you're painting. So let's proceed to sketching now. And for the sketch, just for you to see it, all right, I'm gonna use my yellow. I'm gonna use my mid yellow, just for it to be visible on camera. I'm just gonna use my yellow for my sketch. So again, since this is the sketch part, you know me, I eyeball everything, I freehand everything. I will do some adjustments later as I find them, as I find it necessary. So don't be limited by the sketch that you initially made. You can always change your mind when it comes to painting. Don't worry too much. So this will be the most distant water lily pad. So again, I will make some adjustments, as you can see here. Alright, like that. Okay, again, I'm using my yellow just for you to see it. This is for your benefit. Actually, I could have used green, but I was thinking that green might be quite hard for you to see because you already have a dark background. So I'm just using yellow. So we'll be doing a lot of lily pads because I love water lilies. I just love water lilies. I think I was a water lily in my past life. That's how much I love it. Okay, maybe a water lily under another water lily pad, and a smaller water lily, like that. Maybe some water lily here. All right. Alright, I'm gonna wash my brush out. Okay, now let's underpaint. Alright, let's underpaint. There will be a flower here, but I did not sketch it first, simply because we want to focus more on the leaves now before we proceed to the flower, because the flower will be painted or will be placed over these water lilies. So I'm just gonna underpaint first the water lilies, and for the underpainting, I'm gonna use my, of course, sap green. I'm gonna add yellow and black. So it's like this. Okay, maybe more yellow. Okay, and black. Let's just underpaint first. I hope you can still see the color. Okay, I think the size of the brush that I'm using is not really good for this because, anyway, I'm just gonna continue. And like that. All right. I hope you could, yeah, you can see it. All right, that's the underpainting for the leaf. For the first water lily here. Okay, I think I'm gonna switch brush. It's quite small. So I'm gonna switch to a bigger brush. Slightly bigger than my first brush. And for this time, I'm gonna get my yellow and mix it with the olive green and mix it with burnt sienna. All right, so this color. See, a bigger brush really helps to get things done quite quickly. Here. I'm gonna get some sap green, olive green. Like that. Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna get my sap green mixed with black, but not too dark. Okay. And I'm gonna underpaint this. You can definitely see that on camera. You can tell that it's slightly lighter than the background. I mean the color. Okay, and here as well. Okay, I'm gonna get my yellow mixed with brown. All right, just like this. Again, this is the underpainting, so definitely I will do a lot of adjustments. Let's just underpaint another water lily. I really appreciate imperfections of nature. I really appreciate the imperfections of nature. They're really more beautiful when they're raw and imperfect and asymmetrical. I don't know if you're like me, but that's how I see nature. They are naturally imperfect. So I'm gonna get again my sap green and black. Let's just finish underpainting before we go to the fun part, which is detailing. That is my most favorite part. All right, okay, just one more. Here, oops. That. All right, for the other leaves, get your violet. So I have here my violet. I'm just gonna add a little bit of that color to some of my leaves. So I'm gonna mix my violet with the existing green that I have here. Okay. And I'm gonna add a little bit of white. Again, violet, green, and white. Okay, it's not really showing. Okay, maybe this color. It's not really showing, I know. Gonna get some green because we have a dark background, but later this will make sense. All right, so I think we've really underpainted most of the leaves. I'm gonna get my yellow. Let's underpaint this pad. Right, like that. Okay. Yep. So I think we're done underpainting it. Let's now proceed to detailing it. So wash your brush out. Okay, I'm gonna use a smaller brush because we're now into detailing. So I'm gonna get first my burnt sienna, mix it with yellow and black a little bit. So, and then I'm gonna use this on the edge. Okay, and I'm gonna dry brush on certain areas of the leaves to make it look more natural. All right, now I'm gonna get my yellow without washing my brush. Again, I'm just gonna use that method of dry brushing it over the pad. So you can see here, it already creates that natural look that I really want for my water lily pads. Alright, like that. I'm gonna get my olive green and just I will use some sap green later, but that will be later. Okay. So as you can see here now, we have a natural looking lily pad. But that's not the end of it. We'll be going back to that later. For now, let's just call it the second underpainting. Okay. Now let's go to this leaf because I'm gonna like that leaf. I'm gonna get my white and mix it with the green and black, so that's quite grayish. I'm gonna add a little bit of violet. Now I'm going to paint the edge. Okay, I just added a little bit of white to highlight the edge of this water lily pad. And here. I'm gonna create some patterns. Like that. Okay, you don't have to wash your brush, just get your yellow. Just like what we did here, I'm gonna dry brush on certain areas so that I create the natural patterns on the lily pad leaves, on the lily pads. Alright, like that. Okay, now I'm gonna get my olive green plus black. Okay, I'm gonna get my burnt sienna just to add a little bit of browny colors. Most of the brush strokes that I'll be doing here will be about dry brushing because my goal is to achieve that natural look. We don't want any super perfect image here. Everything will be as natural as possible. All right, okay. So that's the second underpainting for those two lily pads. Let's proceed to another leaf because I'm just addicted to doing this type of painting. So I'm gonna get my white and sap I keep saying sap green. This is not sap green. This is olive green. And white and the olive green, and we're just going to create some detailing like that. Okay, maybe I'm gonna add a little bit of leaf here. Alright. And I'm gonna use the same color to highlight some areas of this small leaf right here. Using the same color, let's highlight this. Using the same color, let's just highlight even more. This. Right. Okay, I'm gonna get my olive green. Okay. Tiny bit of brown and black. Okay. I'm gonna add white to our violet. So just use your violet again and mix it with some greeny colors. I'm gonna dry brush again, just like what we've been doing. Okay, I'm gonna spread that right here. Alright, like that. Okay, wash your brush out. Now let's get some sap green, because I keep saying sap green. I might as well use some sap green. Alright, using my sap green. Okay, I'm gonna dab onto my sap. Add a little bit of brown so that it's not super green. And I'm gonna use this to create some patterns. I call this markings. On the lily pads. Okay, same thing right here. Here, so you can see here, you can hear actually my brush scrubbing on my canvas paper. That's because I'm intentionally scrubbing it. Okay, I'm gonna get my black. Now using my black, just gonna go around the leaves. I'm calling them leaves, alright? I know that they're not leaves. They're like lily pads, and it's just that it's much easier for me to say leaves than lily pads all the time. Okay, so using black, I just went around those leaves. Okay, maybe here as well. Let's go around. Okay. That also here. All right, like that. Okay, now I'm gonna use my sap green. I'm gonna color this area. I'm just scrubbing it. Okay. Can just outline it. Like that. Okay, again, let's go back to olive green plus black. Again, just olive green and black. Okay, wash your brush out, and then I forgot to outline this area. Right, like that. And then I'm gonna get my gray. So I'm gonna get my white and black. Just get your gray color. Let's do some highlights. Little tiny highlights. Okay, like that. Okay, I'm also randomly applying some of that white or gray color on the leaves. Right, like that. So using some gray and green, black and green, just go ahead and glaze. Some areas. And then some black. Okay. I'm gonna get my violet. that. And then some green and white. That. I'm gonna get a little bit of white just to highlight this area. It's like doing your makeup, right? Using your fingers. Okay, let's leave it like that for now. Before we go back to more detailing, let's just get that water lily flower. I'm gonna get my white, mix it with my violet here, maybe brown. So it's not purely white. I'm gonna use this color, okay, to create that flower. So you can see here, I'm directly using my paints in drawing or in sketching. Some people use chalk preliminarily. I mean, yeah, for purposes of drawing. Alright, if you're new to my channel, I think I need to mention that my place is located in front of a main street. So you will hear a lot of traffic sounds like the cars and any type of road transportation that you can imagine. Ambulance. So, yeah. So I'm just gonna use the same color to underpaint that flower. Alright, and here as well. Let me check. That's nice. All right. That's just the underpainting. I'm using more brown, especially down here. Right, like that. Okay, I'm gonna wait for that to dry for a while. Let's go back to the lily pads. Okay, let's go back to the lily pads. So I'm gonna outline, I'm gonna make some detailing right here. I'm gonna get my yellow and brown. Let's make it look more like almost a dying lily pad, because I really don't want perfect lily pads. I want some natural, what do you call that? Movement, even if gradual. Okay. Plants don't die very quickly. But I want some movement, meaning this subject is alive, meaning it has life and it dies and it produces and it grows. You know what I mean, guys? Something that has life. Okay. Now, using my brown, I'm gonna mix it with black so that it's in a different shade of brown. I'm gonna use it again to go back to this area. So I'm going to use that dark brown quite randomly on the edges of the lily pads. In here. In here. So I'm using as well my fingers to spread it, the colors. And also here as well. Again, to look more natural, it should not have that patterns as if it was man-made. You know, the patterns of the buildings, the streets, the pavements, these are all natural, or these are all man-made subjects or objects. Therefore, they have a particular pattern. But when it comes to nature, they're quite random, asymmetrical, as I've already mentioned. Okay, now let's go back to the flower. Before we go back to the leaves, again, I keep going back and forth because that's how I do my paintings. I don't finish one area and then go to another area. I go quite randomly. So if you have different style of painting, you can do that. There's no rule when it comes to painting. There are universal rules that are acceptable, but there should be no particular way of finishing your painting. Even when it comes to time, some people finish a painting quite faster. Some people some people need more time to finish it. But yeah, as I was saying, let's go back to the flower, and I'm gonna get my white, pure white. Let's go and make some highlights now. Alright. I'm gonna get a more pointy brush just to go into the small detailing. I'm gonna get my black and I'm just gonna make some separation. Okay, using black, let's create a little bit of a shadow. Like that. Also here. Again, dark green. All right, just like that. All right. I'm gonna use my yellow to make some small highlights. And again, dry brushing technique. And I'm gonna extend it further. I think yep, like that. Okay. Here, just olive green. Let me check. Right. Okay, again, let's dry brush. I'm gonna get my yellow and green. Okay, again, remove the excess water and just dry brush. I'm gonna get my white and I'm gonna dry brush using white. All right. Let's just fix this. All right. I'm gonna get my yellow, and again, I'm just gonna apply that color. Quite randomly. Here. Some highlights as well. Some white right there. So really a lot of dry brushing. Let me check. Okay. Okay, now I think I'm gonna glaze the lily pads with some green. So using a lot of water, it's like almost watery color. I'm gonna glaze the leaves with this color. Maybe I'm gonna add a little bit of olive green, but again, we'll be using a lot of water. And I'm just gonna go and spread that color on the leaves. I know that it looks a little bit weird, because why am I painting over the leaves when in fact I've done a lot of detailing? This will make sense later. I'm gonna show you later. So by doing it, the painting become more one, okay? We're not really painting over the details that we've already done. We're just glazing it, as if we're trying to varnish it, but not really, because we're using acrylics. All right. I'm gonna use again my, see how it made a difference? I don't know if you noticed that, but it did make a difference. It made the picture more one, okay? I don't know how to describe it even more. So let's go back to black. Let's just fix some areas. I'm gonna get my brown, my burnt sienna. I'm gonna apply some of that color on the flower to make it look more natural. I'm gonna get my yellow plus white and brown. I'm gonna dry brush again. A bit of white. To suggest some ripples. more highlights. You can see I did a lot of dry brushing, and I'll be very honest with you, this is not a beginner level painting tutorial. I'm just showing you the process now. Okay, using some black and green, I'm just gonna make this area quite dark. All right, let me check on camera how this looks like. I love it. Absolutely, I love it. Okay, this is really nice. I'm gonna get my yellow, and in the same manner, I'm just gonna glaze. I'm gonna glaze some areas of the lily pads. Just like that. Maybe here as well. All right. Okay, maybe here as well. That's just the glazing technique. All right, now I'm gonna get my black. All right. Okay. Let's get some brown and apply it right here. Again, just to make the flower look more natural. And some white. Let me just fix this. Okay. Yeah, I think this is good, guys. Right? This is nice. Okay. I'm gonna do a little bit of highlights. Using black, I'm just gonna add a little bit of shadow here. Okay, some ripples here and there. All right, I think this is nice. What do you think? So I think I'm just gonna glaze a little bit of greeny color over this area. So I'm just using watery green. It's nothing really complicated, just watery green. A little bit of detailing, just like that. Yeah. We're basically done, guys. We are done. So I'm gonna sign this now. I think this is good. Right, so I'm gonna sign this now. I'm gonna use a small brush. I'm gonna sign right here. Yep. Wait a minute. I'm just gonna use the remaining white to fix the flower. And we're good. We're good, guys. We're done. Okay, or maybe not. I'm just gonna glaze it green. Yep. Yeah, this is it. This is done. So I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. I'm gonna link in the description box below a painting tutorial that I did similar to this one in the past. I think that was 2 years ago. So I hope you enjoyed this one and see you in my next video.